Life units. The horror of public finance. Personalized. George White, October the 6th, 2013. This is written using the assumption that conventional wisdom is correct about the income tax, its administration, legality, and ultimate use. To understand the enormity of the sums of money spoken of by Congress, I offer you this as a way to get your mind around the enormous size of the amounts they speak of as if it were just crumbs on a table. If you as an individual were able to spend as follows: spending rate $1 per second, $1 equals 1 second, $3,600 equals 1 hour, 86,400 equals 1 day, 604,800 equals 1 week, 1 million equals 11.57 days, 2,592,200 equals 1 month, 30 days, 31,536,000 equals 1 year, 1 billion equals 31.7 years, and 1 trillion equals 3,170 years. Please note the difference in times between the spending of 1 million as opposed to spending 1 billion. No, don't just note it, internalize it so that it becomes a part of your first responder thinking. 1 billion is a huge number, a very huge number when you personalize it. And that is 1 billion is 31.7 years, and 1 million is 11.57 days. So it is quite a difference. In order for the sums of money to be thrown away by Congress, government in general, someone has to create that wealth to be seized in taxes, and that someone is you. Yes, you. Even though you never receive one iota of benefit from their squandering, you are expected to pay because democracy says you must. Consider the facts, the data below. Paying $53,300, the average household income 2010 census, minus in a tax bracket of 25%. 13,250 equals the income tax on 53,300 at 25%. 596,250 equals the taxes paid for 45 working years average household in average work life. 45 times 13,250, or as I call it in one life unit, LU. $596,250 equals one life unit. The reason I call it a life unit is obvious, or it should be. A life unit is the amount paid in taxes by the average household in an average work life. In other words, it is you, your entire productivity in a normal work life. You may or may not agree with me, but I see this as financial slavery, being used as a cash cow, and from which burden you cannot escape, seems to me a form of chattel slavery. Examples by columns. Amount squandered by the Clinton and Obama administrations equals numbers of years equals households, or LUs needed, life units needed. 550 million to Solyndra equals 41,509 years, equals one household in exclusive slavery, or 41,509 households for 1 year, or 922 life units at $596,250 each. So that's 922 people devoted for their whole lives to pay that 552 million to Solyndra. 600 million to ADM, Archer Daniels Midland, equals 45,283 years, equals one household, or 45,000 equals 45,283 households equals 1 year minus 1 year for 1 year, or 1,006 life units at 596,000 $250 each. So that's 1,600 people, life units, working their whole lives, dedicated just to pay that 1,600 million. 300 million to the PCCA, and that is the Popcorn Council of America, I believe, equals 22,642 years equals one household, or 22,642 households equals 1 year, or 503 life units at $596,250 each. So 503 people, life units, their whole lives dedicated to pay that $300 million to the Popcorn Council. You see that in order for the $600 million gift from the Clinton administration to Archer Daniel Midland's ADM in 1993, 1,006 households would be required to dedicate their entire working life to the repayment of that gift as a debt to the nation. That is 45 years of slaving exclusively to pay for that gift debt to the public. The alternatives are to require 45,283 households to slave for 1 year. Those are the only two feasible alternatives because one household simply will not live for 45,283 years. It becomes even more infuriating when you know that the gifts to ADM and the Popcorn Council of America, PCCA, made by the Clinton administration were provided so that they could advertise their products overseas. In any reasonable world, ADM and the PCCA and its individual businesses would pay for their advertising out of their profits. You and I do not have any obligation to slave all of our lives. No one has that public obligation to ensure any business remains in business and profitable. Any business so unprofitable as to not be able to advertise on its own should either reorganize to a point where it can be profitable or go bankrupt. Their services or products will not be longer missed as other businesses will move into the vacuum. We have the free choice to consume their products or not, but to have government take your life's blood and feed it to favorite businesses as a gift is outrageous. And of course, Obama's gift of a guaranteed loan of $550 million to Solyndra was nothing more than a gift of your life's blood to one of his cronies, in an effort to play God and plan a business success at your expense. Governments engaged in picking and choosing winners and losers in the marketplace has proven to be a disaster. Yes, it was a disaster. The company went bankrupt within a year, 500 million pissed away, and 922 life units of slavery squandered by idiots in government. Of course, Obama and his sycophants all believe he is an anointed messiah, so obviously it wasn't his fault. Is that horrible enough for you? Think of waking in the morning each day of your working life, going through the routine of getting ready to go to work, the fight to get to work, the drudgery, frequently for many folks, and all just so the executives in ADM, Solyndra, and the Popcorn Council of America, PCCA, all can live a cushy life and never experience a thing that you did in creating the wealth they sucked out of the economy. In the future, every time you read or hear government tossing out numbers regarding expenditures or borrowing money for projects, immediately think of the life unit measure of the amounts and what it means to the average working household. And that was written by my father 11 years ago, and it is a source to solidify righteous indignation in what Congress spends money on and what they expect you to participate in.